everyone, and welcome to my kitchen. I'm so excited to share one of my traditional or most favorite African curry recipes with you. So if you've been dreaming of Africa, I'm just about to show you how to create the perfect Durban curry. So Durban curry obviously is one of my favorite things to cook. However, today I'm going to show you two different ways that we can use that gorgeous Durban curry. First of all, we could serve it as a main course curry, but I'm also going to show you how to create a traditional Durban Bunny Chow. Now, most people think that Bunny Chow has something to do with rabbits. This is a takeaway sensation that naturally occurred in Durban. The name Bunya then got overheard or translated into bunny, and the South Africans referred to food as chow. So Bunny Chow evolved. It's a fabulous dish to serve as a midweek meal, or especially if you're entertaining and you need a little bit of an African flair. Now, of course, as the shortcut queen and as the queen of culinary bling, I have not only made this into a quick and efficient curry in a hurry recipe, but I'm also going to show you how to serve this so that you get a round of applause when you do. So when we think about making a beautiful curry, there are obviously different ingredients or proteins that we can use. I've decided to use just a chicken today because with a chicken thigh, what I can do is really get that to cook down very quickly. If you had a lamb forequarter or a mutton forequarter, or in fact a beef, you could also do this recipe exactly with that, bearing in mind that they would have to cook for a little bit longer. So of course you could create your own signature curry powder. However, it is really easy to buy a gorgeous curry powder. Just make sure though that your curry powder is in date. So if you've had it for more than a couple of years, maybe it's time to re-gift that and get yourself some of the fresh stuff. Of course, if you are into roasting your own spices, this is very easily done. You can buy the whole spices, pop them into your frying pan, just roast them off slightly and bash them down with a pestle and mortar. So in a curry powder, what we have are spices that we refer to as savory spices. So if you think of the last time you sniffed your beautiful curry powder, you would smell cumin and coriander seeds ground down. You would also smell turmeric and of course some chili. Now you can buy one as hot as you can handle it. I'm also going to be using a garam masala today. Now when we talk about a garam masala, and this is an easy way to remember it, is garam masala is much more fragrant. So it's made up of those sweeter spices. Think cinnamon and cardamom. Those really beautiful pungent spices. So it's obviously darker with a little bit of the cinnamon through there, and next time you sniff it, you'll be able to identify it for yourself. So there are two ways to doing a curry. There's the quick and easy way, or there's the more traditional way where we should put a little bit of vegetable oil here and roast our spices. I'm definitely going to do that, but I'm going to show you my quick and easy way where I actually do this so that I can see how much flavor and personality I'm going to give my chicken, which is obviously the main part of our dish today. So what I've got here is I've got 1 kilo of the chicken thigh, and I've cut each little thigh into about 4 pieces so that it does cook quicker. I did promise you a nice quick curry. So onto that 1 kilo of chicken thigh, I'm going to add about 3 tablespoons of my curry powder. And what I'm wanting to see here is obviously that chicken getting coated by all of that gorgeous flavor. I'm also then going to put in my 3 teaspoons of the garam masala. So traditionally you would put this into the frying pan and then really roast those spices off. This is my little cheat method, just in case you are worried about burning those spices, and this really does give you a little bit more leeway. What it also does is it marinades and coats that chicken so that we get a beautiful, gorgeous result every single time. So now that my pan is nice and hot, and again, I've just started this off with a little bit of a canola, rice bran, or vegetable oil. I am going to put my onions in here first, just to make sure it's not too hot. By all means, if you wanted to, you could also just spice up those onions with a little bit of the garam masala and some of the curry powder. I'm also going to add, at this stage, just some of the curry leaf. Now this is a traditional curry leaf, and you'll find that they are very easy to grow. However, if you can't find that, of course, just leave it out. I'm going to put that's about 8 of those curry leaves just chopped up so that on the palette we don't have a big piece of the curry leaf. I've also got some beautiful green chilies and some red chilies as well out of my garden, and we're just going to pop that on there. This is quite a mild heat at this stage, so by all means, if it is burning and there's smoke coming out of your pan, give it a chefy shake to stop that heat and turn the heat down immediately. We do, however, want a little bit of heat in the pan, so we definitely don't want this all to stew. We definitely want some browning happening, because remember, browning is giving us free flavor. So just in with the garlic and the ginger, and the smells are just fabulous. I'm just going to give it a little bit of a stir, and like I said, we don't want a ferocious heat under this. We really just want those spices browning off, becoming slightly fragrant, but without burning the mix. So once we've got that onion nice and soft, and it's got the lovely spices in there, and we've made sure that we haven't burnt it, I can then just put everything sort of to the side of the pan. Now, you could use a little bit more oil. I don't like to use a lot of oil, but if you wanted to, by all means, just put a little bit more in there. Now that I've got everything to the side of the pan, I've got some space in here for my lovely chicken. And like I said, I put some of the curry powder onto our lovely chicken just to marinate it, and then some of it I've done in the more traditional method. So I was really just showing you both ways of how to do it. However, if I was doing this at home, I would put all those lovely spices on here and it would be done. Because what I'm about to do is put this lovely chicken in to the pan, and the pan is nice and hot. So what it's going to do is it's going to brown off that chicken with its sexy curry marinade, and the rest is going to happen magically. So when that chicken hits the pan, I want to hear a lovely sizzle. That lets me know that this pan is hot enough and our chicken is not going to stew. So now that that chicken that hit the pan first is slightly brown, I'm just going to give this a little bit of a stir through. Now the main thing I want you to achieve here is flavor. The chicken is going to cook through really quickly and easily, because that's what chicken thigh does, and that's why I've chosen it if you're wanting a nice curry in a hurry. So of course, like I said, you could do this with beef or mutton or even sweet potato, and that would make a gorgeous Durban curry for you too. So that's basically all of the hard work done. I've fried off my spices. I've got my onions, garlic and ginger beautiful and soft. I've got a little bit of chili in there, all of our spices. I've got the chicken coated. I'm actually going to be adding 2 tins of the chopped tomatoes, and that's going to add not only some beautiful base flavor and give us a really nice sweetness behind this, but it's also going to bulk up your lovely curry and give it a sauce behind it. So I've added those tomatoes, and now I'm just going to add some chicken stock. So just stirring that through, and I did say in my recipe that we could add some just 2 centimeter cubed raw diced potatoes. Those could go in now and they would cook down beautifully. Now while we're waiting for that curry to cook down, it is the perfect opportunity for us to do the gorgeous accompaniment, which is our sambles. So sambles, or sambles as some people might say, is a glorious accompaniment to the curry. It's that little signature of freshness that gets served on the side. With the sambles, we're going to take some peeled carrot, and I'm just going to grate that down, or you could use a julienne peeler. It depends on what you have at hand. Now, of course, if you do like a little bit of coriander, or as they call it, dhania or cilantro, by all means, please add it. But just check with your guests first, because it's not everyone's cup of tea. So with the curry leaf, I'm just putting that into a nice fine chiffonade cut, just so that it's not really big and messy on the palate. And I actually have a curry tree at home, but you can often buy these at your spice emporiums or supermarkets. I've got a little bit of coriander, and always remember to wash your coriander. They give you lots of free sand in that stuff, and it can be quite confronting on the palate. I'm just going to chop that down nice and fine, and as you can see here with the chopping, I've chosen a nice big knife. So I've got a vegetable cleaver here. If you're going to use your paring knife to cut down things like this, you will be working far too hard. So always choose the right knife for the job. In goes that glorious coriander. Now, I've already got some chopped chili here, so I can pop that straight in. Then I'm going to add some very finely chopped onion, and again, you can use whatever color onion you have. And then last but not least, just a little bit of that white vinegar. You could add a little bit of sugar if you wanted. I'm going to do a little pinch of salt and just season that off nicely. I love how all these colors come together, and that's just going to really add a little bit of personality and flavor to our lovely curry. As with any meal that you have cooked and even followed the recipe right to the last letter, you need to check the seasoning. So I always say seasoning shows you care. If we've made this beautiful curry and it's just lacking in a little bit of base salt flavor, you really are going to miss out on an opportunity for a round of applause. So now that you've checked the seasoning, this of course is ready to serve. So this could go straight to the table with the rice and all the accompaniments. However, if you wanted to really give it that little bit of African flair, what I could do is serve it in my little individual African pot. Now this is actually a potjie pot. It has a complete different recipe set that belongs to it, but for presentation for an African theme, it is fabulous. At home, I often cook my Durban chicken curry in my larger 3-legged pot over the open coals, but this little guy really is just for presentation to the table. So just to get it in there nice and neatly, I would always recommend using a transporter plate, also known as a saucer, just to really get it in there without messing all over the table. You will find that this will save you lots of time wiping plates and bowls in the future. So this one is adorable, and of course they could serve it from there onto their plate with the rice and the accompaniment. The other way is, and I've got a little mini loaf here, is to cut this bread down, and essentially when this was served as a takeaway item, this would create the bowl that they ate their curry out of. So what I'm going to do is, just using my hand, I'm just going to be following the crust. I'm going to take out that big middle bit of that gorgeous soft bread and keep that because we're going to need it. And then what I'm going to do is fill that up with our glorious Durban curry. Guys, 2 beautiful ways of plating up and serving our lovely Durban curry. Of course, this was done in under 20 minutes. If you have the time, cook it down a little bit longer. You really will benefit. The sauce will go thick and all those flavors will really combine. Happy cooking, guys, and enjoy.